Hi, Dr. Ken Adams with you again. Here at the end of 2023, our 10-year anniversary of the Overcoming Enmeshment workshops and our services that I developed and am the director of. One of the pieces of the workshops that have increased here in recent few years is our services to women who have been enmeshed with their mothers and or their fathers. And there are some particular differences for women that we see that aren't the same as men, although there's a lot of crossover. I'd say offhand, 75–80% of the issues we see with men, we see also with women. But there are some particular issues with women that are different. And the men or the women who love them also face something a little different that the women who love the men or the men who love the men who are enmeshed that we don't see. So let's talk about, and our workshops for women have been increasing here in the last couple of years, which is good to see because we have felt that that's been an important need. So let's talk about some of the differences. So first of all, there's cultural reinforcement that the woman or the daughter takes care of her parents or family. We don't see that with the men. We see it with the daughters. So there's a sort of pressure that the woman's identity is burdened by the cultural reinforcement. So part of the recovery is to begin to shed that identity and say, wait a minute, why is it my job? You know, I can participate in this, but I don't want to take on the full responsibility, particularly at a cost to myself. And part of that identity reinforcement is to be sacrificial, giving, differential, meeting other people's expectations, and so forth. And that fits right into enmeshment, right? So in enmeshed systems, adults learn, the children who are in enmeshed systems and adults who are in enmeshed systems learn to tune into the parents and to please and to extend and sacrifice the self at the cost of their own journey. So we see that here with women. We see the mother, we see the daughter who can be the mother's best friend. Now, there's nothing wrong with hanging out with your parents or even your same-sex parents and, you know, taking in a shopping trip or whatever it is. That's a fun thing to do in some respects. Circling back and being an adult with your parent is part of the joy of emancipation and part of the reward for a parent's ability to step back and let go. But in a mesh system, the daughter can't function unless she has constant contact with the mother. They're merged symbiotically together. And that's problematic for the adult child. The biggest interference, of course, is that she can't be available for an adult romantic relationship fully. She might absorb anxiety and loneliness that is her mother's, that isn't hers, feel need to be attentive to the mother, caretake the mother, sacrifice her life for the mother. She may absorb the mother's anger that was directed at her husband or the adult child's father, making it difficult. And then the daughter takes on the mother's anger, makes it difficult for her to bond with a man should she be heterosexual. So this absorbing and merging with the mother is very problematic. So recovery for enmeshment when the daughter is enmeshed with the mother must be a differentiation and a separation of the two so that the mother feels the loss as well as the daughter feels the loss, and they can both stand separately and then come back together and find common ground. The adult enmeshed woman who is enmeshed with her father often has played the role of the father's surrogate girlfriend. And where in this case, the woman is more identified with being sexualized and romanticized by the father. And then she in turn might overvalue her sexuality and her body and over-sexualize experiences. She might even become sexually compulsive or addicted, or marry somebody who is, or bonds with somebody who is. And so she plays out this role of surrogate girlfriend that she shouldn't, really isn't her identity. So in this case too, there needs to be a separation and a divorce from that role assignment in order to be free. The men and the women involved with these women, I want to say a word about that, because we occasionally get men who say, well, what about us, right? I'm involved with a woman who's enmeshed with her family, and I'm second fiddle. So mostly when we write about partners or talk about partners of enmeshed individuals, we talk about the women enmeshed, the spouses who are women of the enmeshed men. But the men who are involved with women who are enmeshed with their families also suffer loss, and they too have the same problems. They wind up feeling second fiddle. In the beginning, some of these men find it a relief not to have to deal with their wife or their wife's family. They go off and play golf, they go off and drink, they often go do their thing. But over time, they begin to realize there's a certain loneliness and emptiness in their relationship that they now can point to is at least a byproduct of this over-involvement by their wife with their family. And they're stymied because if they bring it up, they're pushed back on that this is just normal. This is what I do. This is what women do. So we might see men take a more aggressive posture around here in that they might go off and have an affair or give themselves permission to use porn or act out sexually as justification because their woman is not available to them. So I think it's important that both the men involved with these women or the women involved with these women and the women themselves know that there's a way to reorder the lines of loyalty and giving and love with your mother or your father and be available to yourself fully, to your partner and to your kids if you have them, and to your own unfolding, whether it be your career, your interest, your creativity, but you get to have more to the definition of your womanhood than just your mother or father's caretaker.